I have found that one of the challenges of growing old is attempting to act as if arguments I've heard for decades are fresh and new. Marching, as I often do, under the banner of humanism, which is one of the pesky isms I'll be talking about, I've long listened to the theism-atheism debate, though I have to admit I tuned it out several years ago. No, I don't think the theism-atheism debate is engaging, because I suspect that's not really what we're talking about. We rely on that argument because marching in the Ism Parade is easier than lighting out for the territories of ambiguity and individual thought. As I see it, the deeper debate, beyond anything to do with theism, atheism, or any other ism, is about the value of our mental maps. The question is, how do we find a mental map that will suffice in giving our lives value, meaning, and purpose? Is a particular sort of theism, because there are oodles and gobs of theisms, is a particular sort of theism an adequate mental map to withstand the slings and arrows of being alive? That's the real question. Is a particular sort of atheism, because there are oodles and gobs of atheisms and agnosticisms and pantheisms and on, is a particular sort of atheism an adequate mental map to withstand the slings and arrows of being alive? That's the deeper question, a question that can't be answered with an ism. When we share our mental maps, it's well that each of us remembers the personal nature of the tool, even though just about everything we can think is some sort of ism. When we forget the individuality of everyone's experience, we join in what I think ought to be called the death march of isms. In other words, my theism or atheism or humanism or what have you is mine and mine alone, and your whatever is yours and yours alone. Seen from this vantage point, I have to wonder if being spiritual, quote unquote, is an attempt to hop out of that ism parade. The way we describe ourselves in American English is revealing in this way. We tend to say, I'm a Baptist, or I'm a humanist. We don't tend to say, I'm the Baptist, or I'm the humanist, even though in the narcissism of individuality we may actually think that. This verbal habit springs, I suspect, from a tacit understanding that each of us represents an aspect of being that larger ism or that larger label, but our own mental maps don't precisely map onto the prescribed map of particular meaning. Meaning, by that, all we don't fit into the ism parade, try as we might. Oh, and note that sometimes we do say, I'm liberal or I'm conservative, a sure sign that politics is messed up. So why do so many of us even try to don an ism's uniform and march to its martial tune? Well, it beats me, perhaps because it's shorthand and easy. I don't know. Somehow, we have to participate in the ism parade before we can march toward an examination of our own values. But reflect on this. Doesn't the mere fact of the multiplicity of human maps of what we call reality signal a sure sign of one thing? We as a species don't understand reality in one single way, and perhaps we don't understand it at all. Sure, we get cues from our genes and our families and our cultures, and the mental maps that pre-exist help us to survive and thrive in this strange place called life and reality. Isms exist because they have served as handy frames, but the call of having an individual consciousness is to use it, which means each of us will ideally parade with an ism before and while we find our own drummer to march to. Okay, I'm mixing my metaphors too much here, but perhaps you see what I'm trying to get at. An ism is a fine thing to check out, but marching solely in one ism parade ultimately requires living an unexamined life. Sure, each of us can do that, but where's the fun? Come on. Step out of line, do a little dance, tell the Ism Parade to go on without you.